Nicole Smith.
Tyler Jansen.
From Blood and Iron Martial Arts. And today we're here to talk about
Master Cuts.
However you know them, hidden strikes, secret strikes, 5 strikes, or the master strikes, they're all in reference to 5 particular techniques in German swordsmanship.
The Zornhau, the Crumple, the Zwerchhau, the Schielhau, and the Scheitelhau are described by Lichtenauer, Meyer, and other German fencing masters for specifically used in unarmored or Bloschfechten fighting.
The objective of these is to break guards to gain the initiative over an opponent that is committed to an attack. Basically, it's a way to attack and defend simultaneously.
Let's start with the Zornhau.
This is the simplest of the master cuts and is basically a tactical application of the Oberhau, a simple descending cut.
To apply this technique, begin with the sword over your right shoulder or directly overhead.
As your opponent begins his cut towards you, cut at his head and step forward with your back foot, stepping offline to your right. Your blade will displace his and connect with his head.
Or if you're a little further away, your point will line up with their face and you'll be ready for a thrust called the Zornord.
Notice we said to attack the opponent, not his sword. Attacking the sword may stop him from hitting you, but it does not give you the initiative you need to hit him. In fact, you may just set him up for another attack.
Structure is very important in this attack. If you do not lead with the tip of your sword and lead with your hands instead, the outcome will be not so favorable.
Geometry also plays a role here as well. If I only step forward into my opponent, it is unlikely I will be far enough away from the path of his sword to avoid getting hit myself. Stepping offline to the right will get me out of the way when I land my strike. Next up, the Zwerchhau.
The Zwerchhau is used most effectively to break or interrupt descending cuts.
This strike also begins from either your right shoulder or overhead with your lead leg opposite your sword.
This strike necessitates a grip change to be successful. From your regular handshake grip, slide your thumb up and turn your sword in your hands at the same time that you begin your rotation.
Use your left hand to power the sword at the same time as your right hand is coming across. Your goal is to cut through your opponent's head, not just at it.
The sword travels out and across your body as you step out with your right side, interrupting your opponent's strike, and should hopefully make contact with the side of their head.
Again, geometry plays a part here. If I do not step offline, I will not be able to cut across the line as effectively.
Your structure is important here as well. A broken wrist or having a guard too close to your head will not have as good as an outcome. The Crumple.
The Crumple or crooked strike works well against thrusts and many point-forward guards and cuts.
It too begins from above your right shoulder or above your head, or a couple other positions. This one will also necessitate a grip switch from your handshake to your thumb grip.
With your lead leg opposite your sword, begin your grip switch to thumb grip. As you begin moving forward, your sword out towards your opponent. The attack will be to your opponent's sword with the true edge of your sword.
Your aim here is to cut across the sword and bind it, or their hand if they so happen to present them.
From here, you can follow up with either a thrust or a false edge cut. The Schielhau.
The Schielhau, or squinting strike. There has been some question as to the name of this one, but all that really matters is, it works.
Begin with the sword on the shoulder or overhead. Noticing a pattern here?
As your opponent throws their cut, switch your grip to the thumb grip and turn the false edge of your sword to intercept their blade and strike at them at the same time.
Stepping off to the side, aim for their head as you cut through their cut.
This works because your hands are higher up than the standard descending cut, allowing you to intercept their sword on your strong. Scheitelhau.
This strike is a quick snap to the top of the head.
It can be used to come over the sword of your opponent or get them to raise their guard so you can come up underneath.
No matter what you call them, the master strikes are an integral part of German swordsmanship. There are a myriad of interpretations out there. These just happen to be ours.
The master strikes are mentioned by all of the German masters, and they're important because they can be used to both simultaneously attack and defend at the same time.
Learning these techniques will improve your game dramatically. But for now, we hope you've enjoyed learning a little more what sword fighting actually looked like.